Hello everyone. In this video we are going to continue our discussion about animal kingdom, and more specifically we are going to focus on animal nutrition in this video and the coming ones. So we are talking here about methods of taking in the food, taking it apart or taking it up. So this is what is known as animal nutrition. We are not going to go into deep details about the different types of nutrition in animals. So as you know, there are herbivores which eat mainly plants and algae, or carnivores which eat other animals, and omnivores which consume animals as well as plants and algae. We will cover this in later videos when we go to the ecology part. So for now, you can think there are three main groups of classifying animals depending on the type of food that they consume. Okay, so why do we eat? Why the animals need nutrition? The first reason is that we need chemical energy, and that's the reason that we eat, to break down the energy stored in the bonds of the food molecules. So the food contains carbon and nitrogen and different atoms, and they store energy, and we break it down and we convert it into the energy currency of the cell, which is ATP, to do the different biological functions. The number two reason that we eat, why do we require a diet? Number two, as we said, is to build up the different organic molecules. So we know that we have carbohydrates, so we have four groups of organic molecules or macromolecules. So we have carbohydrates, we have proteins, we have fats, and we have nucleic acids. So we break down the food that we consume to get the organic carbon and organic nitrogen in order to build up and synthesize these different four categories of organic molecules. So here we have what we call as essential nutrients. So let's first define the word essential. So essential means that we must uptake them because our body cannot synthesize them. So we must uptake these essential nutrients from outside the body because we cannot synthesize them. It could be essential amino acids, and in nature we have 20 amino acids, so 8 out of the 20 are essential amino acids. So our body cannot synthesize 8 of the amino acids, and we should get them from the diet. We also have essential fatty acids, and these are the omega-3 and omega-6. So for example, omega-9, this one we can synthesize, so it's not an essential one. So essential, as we said, does not reflect the amounts. It reflects whether our body can synthesize it or not. So moving on, some essential nutrients that we should require include vitamins and minerals. So these are molecules required in our diet in small amounts, and the main difference between them is that vitamins are organic molecules while minerals are inorganic molecules. So moving on, so in this table and in the next one we are going to show some examples of the vitamins. So as you can see, most of the time these vitamins are required as coenzymes. So it reminds you of the macro and micronutrients in the plants. Also in the table it shows the symptoms of deficiency of each of these vitamins. You don't need to memorize them, but just to give you an idea and to give you a chance to check that your diet is supplying these important vitamins, because here are the major dietary sources. Moving on to the minerals, we have different minerals that are required. Maybe they are required as cofactor, for example the magnesium, or maybe they are required in building some of the structure. For example, in us we need calcium and phosphorus to build the bone and the tooth. So formation of these structures require calcium and phosphorus, or maybe they are needed for the acid base balance. So for example, the potassium chloride and sodium, they are all needed for the acid-base balance. So they impact the pH, which will impact the retention of the water in your body. So moving on, we can divide the main stages for processing of the food into ingestion, digestion, absorption, and elimination. So ingestion means we are getting the food molecules in. Then digestion, we are breaking it down. Absorption, we are picking it up. Then elimination, we are removing the waste out. So as you can see, ingestion, that means we are getting the food particle in. Once it is inside our body, then digestion will start to break it down. It could be mechanical digestion, or it could be chemical digestion, or both. So after that, breaking it further down, we will absorb it in order for our blood to be loaded by these nutrients, and it will distribute it throughout the cells of the body. Then the undigested material will form the waste, which will be removed out through the process of elimination. So starting with the first item, or the first step, which is ingestion. How can we get to the food? How the different types of animals get their food? Some of the animals are classified as suspension feeders, or in other words, filter feeders. For example, this baleen whale. So what does it have? It has baleen sheath. So many layers of this baleen, and it is suspension feeder, so it ingests water and all suspended nutrients, and then it pushes, and then it closes the mouth, it pushes the water out through the baleen sheath and retains the suspended nutrients inside the body of the whale. Some other organisms are classified as substrate feeders, so they actually live on the substrate that they consume or ingest. For example, the caterpillar, and they actually live, as I said, on the substrate, and they leave behind a trail of feces. Some other animals are classified as fluid feeders, for example, a mosquito, and in this case you will see adaptation, because these animals, they get the food in liquid form. They don't need teeth or something. So in modification of that, they have sucking parts, allowing them to get the food in this liquid form. Some animals are classified as bulk feeders. So for example, here a snake eating a gazelle, and as you can see, it is eating the whole body of the gazelle, so it's a bulk feeder. Not necessarily eating the whole body, but if the organism eats like big chunks of the food, in this case it is a bulk feeder. So for example, humans are classified as bulk feeders, so there are different adaptations allowing animals to be classified as bulk feeders. For example, the presence of teeth and jaws, like what we have, the presence of body that can extend. So for example, this snake cannot digest or cannot break down the gazelle into smaller pieces. So what the body will do, it will extend in order to ingest the gazelle. Some animals, they have tentacles, like what we mentioned in the hydra. So there are different adaptations allowing the bulk feeding. Once the food has been ingested, once it is in our body, then the next step will start, which is digestion. So digestion is the process that will take place to break this food into smaller pieces. So as long as the food is passing through the digestive system, it will be progressively broken down into smaller and much smaller molecules in order to allow it to be absorbed at the end. So usually in most animals, or in many animals, including us, it starts with mechanical digestion. So like chewing up, which increases the surface area of the food. So as you can see here, this chewing up or this physical or mechanical digestion increases the surface area, which is important in order to increase the area exposed to the enzymatic action. Why? Because the next step is chemical digestion, and this chemical digestion is done through enzymes. So chemical digestion and enzymatic digestion will be affected by the surface area, and the animals increase their surface area through mechanical digestion. So once the molecules are digested with the enzymes, they will be further broken down to smaller molecules, and at the end they can pass through membranes, they can be absorbed, they can be used to build the different types of larger molecules which we have discussed. So to summarize, we can classify the digestion into physical or mechanical digestion like that, like chewing up the food, and then chemical digestion, which is enzymatic digestion. So I will end the video here, and in the next videos we will cover the remaining two steps, which is absorption and elimination.